Well, hello, everybody. Today we're recording this on May the 2nd, and it happens to be my birthday. And tomorrow, May the 3rd, is Garrett's birthday. Happy birthday, Garrett. And, we thought that might be a good topic when we talk about great organizations and some of the things we're doing. And we've been highlighting specific organizations and using specific examples. In this case, there's so many organizations that do well with this, quite a few that don't do anything at all. And so the whole purpose of this is to talk about organizations and how they constructively use and celebrate birthdays and how meaningful that is. Now, the most important thing, I think, around acknowledging people's birthdays is that obviously it's an important milestone for us as an individual, from an individual point of view. And of course, the milestone is a little further along for some of us than others. And, when we celebrate birthdays, people are quite often discreet and want to be discreet about their actual age. So you don't have to deal with the actual age. You can celebrate birthdays. The important thing is that most of us appreciate being acknowledged on our birthday. It's a milestone event. And we often use it as a time to take a little bit of stock, to think back on the last year, to think back or to think forward around how we're evolving as human beings and all the other ways. And of course, we're often, if we're fortunate, we get wishes from people that we deeply care about, that care about us, that take the time to do it. So in an organization, I know there are people that believe that, everything is just business. It's not personal. And, we here with Garrett and I and the work that we've done, we've often pushed back against that notion and reinforced that it's personal. All business is personal. And today's world, we fully integrate our personal lives and our work lives. We try to keep boundaries as best as we can, as we should. However, oftentimes the birthday lands on a time when we're working. And even if it doesn't, I think it's important to acknowledge it. So Garrett's going to embed an article that's a quite useful article. It's got 26 thoughtful ways to celebrate birthdays in 2023, even if people are remote. And I won't get into those. You can look at the details. And there's a lot of great ideas. The important thing is to challenge you around, just ask you, what do you do in your organization around acknowledging people's birthdays? It's quite important. It's important mostly, again, because in the spirit of connecting before content and putting people first, you acknowledge and you see that person, and in a way where you appreciate a milestone event, much like you would with other milestone events that are great joy, like a birth of a child, for example, or some other kind of acknowledgement, or sometime when something deeply sad happens, like the passing away of a loved one. These are ways when these milestone events, when we can really connect with that person, if we just take a moment to recognize them. And so this article gives you some pretty elaborate ways that you can acknowledge people's birthdays. The most important thing is that you do it and you have a system for doing it, and that you're consistent. And there's a way that today, particularly in organizations, these human resource systems all pop up. Birthdays are common records, they're information that we fill out. And even though people often want to be discreet and don't want to bring a lot of attention necessarily to, certainly to the age, we do appreciate, most of us. It's a rare situation when we don't want to be acknowledged at all. So be consistent and be personal. Make it personal. And so it's maybe as simple as just, when it pops up in your calendar, writing a personal note, even if it's just a text, or if it's something a little bit more personal, it's handwritten, or it's a quick phone call, or a quick recording on a text. It's a way to say, happy birthday. I hope you have a glorious day, and many more, or whatever you may want to say. Now, the there are many, many other ways that really top-notch organizations take this to a further level. The most common is food, right? There are organizations out there, commercial organizations, that'll actually manage that arrangement for you. So if you know that a person is gluten-free, but they love chocolate, there's an organization out there that will make sure that gluten-free muffins arrive at that person's place of work, whether it's in a campus or at home. It takes a little bit more work and a little more organization, but you can do it. And on a more, I would say, affirming level, some organizations go so far as to do some things on milestone birthdays as paying all expense trip for a weekend to a local lodge or a resort or something like that. I mean, those are quite elaborate, and frankly, you've got to have the resources to be able to do it. But what you're doing is you're saying, look, it's a people-first organization. We can't do it without you. And when you celebrate a milestone, it's a milestone for us as an organization as well, because you're here celebrating with us. So, so whatever you are, if you're leading a group of people, have a system, have a way of personally recognizing people on their birthdays. If it's just you and you're an individual contributor, know people around you are really important to you, and take a moment to acknowledge them. They're people that you interact with at work all the time. Know about that and tell you they'll appreciate it. If you're the leader of a bigger group, if you're fortunate enough to be in that position, think about something a little bit more complete. Look, you want to do this because you're genuine and it's meaningful from the point of view of people first. Now, if you feel like you need to be a little bit more bottom line practical, the other data is from an HBR article is that birthdays are one of the biggest resume completing times out there. It's when a lot of times when people go, am I really getting anywhere here? Am I really being acknowledged here? Am I really progressing and doing the things? And you know what? This milestone birthday has made me reflect on that, this birthday. And you know what? I think I'm going to fill my resume. I'm not sure this is the place for me. And in a situation where we're trying to attract and retain top talent, I mean, it's not really helpful when the acknowledgement system or the recognition system of the organization misses things like milestone times, and in this case, birthdays. So look at, the best organizations have a system for this. They do something more complete. And you'll see lots of wonderful personal ways that people, whether the CEO of the organization, she or he, needs as much acknowledgement as the frontline person that just joined you a couple of weeks ago. Doesn't matter. We're human. We're people first. Celebrate birthdays. Be thoughtful. Be consistent. Be personal. Read the article for some other tips, more practical tips, lots of ideas. Go make it happen. And happy birthday, Garrett. And I'm going to have a very happy birthday today, too. Happy birthday to all of you, whenever it may be in 2023. Thank you, and bye for now. See you next week.